Okay, what if I told you Gumball and Darwin might have died in season 6?
Let's surprise them! Not bad, but dumber! Over! You don't move a muscle until I say so, okay? Mommy!
I know. Sounds ridiculous, right? This is the Amazing World of Gumball we're talking about. It's a cartoon where anything can happen. The laws of physics change every 5 minutes. Characters break the fourth wall like it's nothing, and jokes come faster than logic.
What the? Dad!
You said put up all the posters.
Not in the same place! Oh.
But somewhere along the way, something changed.
It's so good. You'll never find him in.
If you've ever binged the series straight through, you probably felt it too. Around season 6, the tone starts to shift. The jokes get darker. The animation gets weirder. The fourth wall doesn't just break, it disintegrates. Episodes start to feel less like classic cartoon chaos and more like emotional fever dreams.
No, I think I did it better.
And then there's one episode that keeps coming up. One moment fans can't stop pointing to. It's called The Inquisition, and according to one of the creepiest theories out there, it's the moment Gumball and Darwin die, and everything after is just after.
Well, he's not all bad. I think that moment warrants an extra special high five. Higher.
Let's walk through it. The Inquisition is the 20th episode of season 6, and at first, it seems like standard Elmore weirdness. The school gets a new superintendent, Mr. Cornell, who decides that all students must become normal. But this time, normal means one thing: human.
Elmore, my name is Superintendent Elmore.
Like, literally. Human-shaped blobs. No more fish with legs or peanuts with antlers. Just dead-eyed, beige-colored, identical humans. It's played for laughs, until it isn't. By the end of the episode, Gumball and Darwin are captured and forced into the transformation chamber. The screen flashes. It fades to white.
Trust me. This is enough.
And then, cut to black. That moment, that exact fade, is what started the theory. Some fans believe it symbolizes death, a cleansing, a hard reset of everything we knew, and what follows isn't the same world. It's something else entirely.
What are you doing?
Fixing them, and their transformation is almost...
Because from that moment on, the tone of the series changes.
Most.
Subtly at first, but it gets stranger. After the Inquisition, things don't feel normal, not even cartoon normal.
Behavior is to be corrected. Now get to class. No, the normal way.
Episodes become more surreal. The narrative structure breaks down. Characters act out of place. There are fewer simple reset button plots, and more strange, disconnected stories where the rules of reality are completely off. It's like watching a dream where you're aware you're dreaming, but you can't wake up. There's even a term fans use to describe it: Elmore limbo. The theory goes that Gumball and Darwin didn't just die in a physical sense. They entered a liminal space, a kind of cartoon purgatory, where reality loops infinitely and meaning starts to unravel. A world where time doesn't move forward, where consequences don't make sense, where everyone around you just keeps playing along. And in this afterlife, the only way Gumball and Darwin can cope is by doing what they've always done: cracking jokes, causing trouble, pretending everything is fine. But it's not. This is where it gets wild, because the show seems to know. It doesn't just drop into weirdness, it acknowledges it. Characters begin talking about fate, the end, and even the collapse of their own universe. Rob, remember Rob, the guy who got stuck in the void? Starts warning Gumball about what's coming, but no one listens, not even Gumball. especially not Gumball.
Rob!
But who's hiding behind this? Oh no, sorry everyone, it is just Rob.
Well, let's
And here's the thing. Rob's warning comes in the future, one of the last proper episodes of the series.
All this for a reason. Don't you understand what's going on in Elmore? You have two choices. Live in ignorance about what's...
It's like he's screaming at them to wake up,
Or listen to what I have to say.
but they can't. Because according to the theory, Gumball and Darwin aren't in their world anymore. They're in a loop, a place that looks like Elmore, sounds like Elmore, but isn't really Elmore.
Lives. Okay, good. I've been trying to transform you as...
It's a ghost town made of memories, punchlines, and denial. And if that doesn't make your skin crawl just a little, keep watching. If that white screen in the Inquisition gave you chills the first time too, or if this theory already has you looking at Elmore differently, drop a like to let us know you're on board.
I think that's quite...
Thank you. Thank you.
And don't forget to subscribe. Let's go back for a second. Think about the earlier seasons of Gumball. Sure, it was chaotic, sometimes even violent, but it always had a rhythm. Problem happens, chaos erupts, lesson half learned, reset. It was comfortingly absurd. Even when it got weird, it felt safe. Now, jump to season 6. The episodes don't just feel different, they feel off. The world of Elmore gets unstable. The characters become more self-aware. The jokes start to carry weight, not just punchlines, but undertones. It's like the show is smiling through gritted teeth.
Any questions regarding my authority? Punish. I am here to correct your outline.
And that's where the theory goes deeper. Fans suggest that what we're seeing isn't random weirdness. It's a manifestation of grief, the loss of innocence, the collapse of stability. The show itself is mourning something. And Gumball and Darwin, they're not reacting to the chaos anymore. They're part of it.
Evil. I guess. You gotta want it though.
Stand up straight, young man. Everybody knows the crest.
Let's look at a few examples. And fair warning, once you start noticing the patterns, it's hard to unsee them. The future Rob, the series' glitch-ridden villain, literally climbs out of the void and warns Gumball that the end is coming. He's desperate, frantic, and Gumball just laughs it off. But look closer. Rob's not joking. He's terrified. He says time is running out, and Gumball needs to prepare. It's not funny. It's a warning, and it gets ignored. Then Rob is pulled back into the void, screaming, "I hope you're happy now."
See ya in the future, Rob!
What kind of cartoon ends a character's arc like that? Unless he's not being erased from the world. He's being pulled further away from the living. The decisions. In this episode, Gumball is confronted with versions of himself that represent different life choices, different futures. One of them tells him he'll be happy and successful if he walks away. Another says he'll stay the same, trapped in his current loop. Gumball naturally chooses the loop. It's like he's being offered an escape, a chance to move on, to break out, and he refuses. Not because he's evil or ignorant, but because he's scared. Or maybe because he knows he's not in the real world anymore. And leaving means facing something he's not ready to accept. Let's pause here. This theory doesn't argue that Gumball and Darwin physically died in some gruesome way. There's no car crash off-screen theory, no secret funeral scene. Instead, it leans into metaphor. They died narratively. They became stuck, not in heaven or hell, but in a kind of emotional limbo. Elmore becomes a looping world of distractions. Time doesn't move forward. Characters don't age. Problems don't get resolved. They just mutate into something weirder. It's like the town is caught between channels, a half-remembered cartoon world where everything's loud, bright, and emotionally numb. And Gumball and Darwin? They're not immune. They laugh, they prank, they monologue. But there's a hollowness to it. Like they're performing happiness instead of feeling it. That's the creepiest part. It's not that they're miserable, it's that they don't know something's wrong. Or worse, they do. And they just keep joking to keep the truth away. Here's a detail fans often point to. By season 6, the town of Elmore starts to feel smaller. There's a growing sense of claustrophobia. Episodes take place in empty rooms. Characters you used to see all the time vanish. The backgrounds feel stripped down. Sometimes it's visually busy, but emotionally vacant. Even when the family goes to new places, like in The Intelligence, it feels like a simulation. Reality itself starts glitching. The rules bend, the logic collapses.
Darwin, do something! Which one is the real Gumball?
Nothing feels grounded anymore, and that fits the theory perfectly, because in a cartoon afterlife, one built out of memory and denial, there are no consequences, no growth, no exit.
Robot! Okay. Ow! Why'd you do...
There's just the same town, the same faces, the same routines,
Bug me too. I told you to hit the robot! That's
and the creeping feeling that something is very, very wrong.
what I would have said. Bobber, this has gone too far.
Let's talk about the season 6 finale. There's no grand send-off, no neatly tied bow, no goodbye Elmore moment. Instead, it ends with the Inquisition, where Gumball and Darwin are forced into human conformity. The screen flashes white, and we fade out. And then the future, where Rob, the only character who seems to know something's wrong, is dragged back into the void while screaming warnings. Gumball watches, laughs, then stares ahead blankly and says, "Everything's going to be just fine." But it's not. The show never returns to explain what happened to Rob. There's no closure, and more importantly, there's no resolution for Gumball or Darwin. It's as if their story just stops, or more accurately, loops. That's why fans say this is where they die. Not physically, but narratively, emotionally, spiritually. Because a story that resets over and over again, one that avoids closure, consequence, or forward motion, that's not life. That's a ghost story. Think about the side characters. By the end of season 6, many of them feel like hollow echoes of their former selves. Banana Joe's randomness gets darker. Mr. Small spirals into paranoia. Even Richard Watterson, once a beacon of lovable stupidity, starts making existential comments about time, fate, and meaning. Characters disappear, or glitch, or behave like NPCs in a simulation. And that's what Elmore starts to resemble. Not a town, but a sandbox. A looping environment with familiar assets, recycled storylines, and nothing holding it together but routine. A place where no one remembers what came before, and no one expects anything new. That's why this theory hits so hard. Because if you've ever felt stuck in your own life, in routine, in grief, in numbness, you've already been in Elmore. You know what it's like to live in a world that feels increasingly surreal while pretending everything's normal. Here's where things get uncomfortable. Because if Gumball and Darwin really did die or get stuck in limbo, why don't they notice? Why don't they grieve? Why don't they fight to escape? Simple answer? They can't, because denial is part of the system. This theory suggests they're not just trapped in a cartoon afterlife, they're trapped in the mindset of childhood that never ends, where everything resets, where consequences are funny, where feelings are covered by gags, where nothing matters is a punchline. But under that comedy, something is rotting, and you can feel it, especially in the later episodes, where the characters start talking about endings, fate, and even what happens after the show ends. They know something is wrong, but instead of addressing it, they deflect. Joke, smile, carry on. Just like someone stuck in grief, just like someone afraid to move on, just like someone in denial. Here's the truth. No one from the show has confirmed this theory.
Toriyama, the guy who created Dragon Ball, is my hero. Superpower would help you do your job better. Stop in time.
There's no official statement from Cartoon Network, no interview where Ben Bocquelet says, "Yep, Gumball and Darwin died in season 6 and now you're watching Cartoon Purgatory."
Hi, my name is Ben Bocquelet and this is my BAFTA 60 Seconds channel.
But that's the point. This theory isn't about physical death, it's about narrative death, emotional stasis. The moment a story, or a person, stops growing and starts looping.
Do like all the episodes and then the day after you have...
And when you frame it that way, the theory doesn't just make sense, it feels familiar. because it's not really about Gumball and Darwin anymore. It's about us. It's about growing up and realizing things don't reset anymore. That not everything is fixable with a joke. That the world can be absurd and unfair, and way more surreal than we were ever prepared for. It's about watching your childhood fade, not with a bang, but with a punchline. Here's a final twist for you. What if Gumball and Darwin didn't die at all? What if we did, metaphorically? What if Elmore is just the last dream of childhood? A world built from every cartoon you ever loved, every joke you ever laughed at, every rule you ever broke because no one was watching. And what if season 6 is the part where you finally realize you're growing out of it? The jokes stop landing, the stories feel hollow, the characters stop evolving, and suddenly, the world you loved starts to glitch, stretch, break, until you realize you can't go back. That's what makes this theory powerful. Not because it's true in a literal sense, but because it captures something real. That feeling of looking at the thing you once loved and realizing it's fading. And maybe the scariest part, you're not watching Gumball lose his world. You're watching yourself lose his. If that theory just messed with your head a little, or if you've ever finished an episode and thought, wait, why does this feel so sad? Hit that like button. And if you want more deep dives into the strange, surreal, and occasionally tragic corners of your favorite shows, hit subscribe. We're just getting started.